All right. So, as you have witnessed the last few class days, the internet connection is not incredibly reliable. So, what I was going to do today was share my screen and share some slides with you and do a little bit of modeling, but it's probably, I determined, easier just to create this video and then allow you to watch the video. I just think it'll go a little bit more smoothly and take less time. So what I have projected here on my screen is a slide titled The 4 C's of Quality Academic Writing. And I'm sharing this slide with you because today, when you go back through The Lady or the Tiger paragraph writing piece, you're going to see some commentary in the right-hand margin on your Google Doc. And for each comment that's provided, I've also typed in one of these categories. Maybe you'll see a comment that says, consider rewording your claim in order to account for the theme of power as well. And then next to that, it'll say in capital letters, content and analysis. And the reason it would say that is because that particular comment that's provided has to do with this particular category of your writing piece. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've scored your writing pieces, but as I was scoring them, these were the 4 things, the 4 categories that I had in mind as I was going through reading, trying to arrive at a fair score, and then providing comments. So my hope is that going through this slide real quickly and then the next slide just gives you some context for what these categories mean and how attending to the comments can help your academic writing in different ways. So the first category that was on the rubric and the first category that you might see in your comment bank is the category content and analysis. And it says that anytime you write an academic writing piece, your content and analysis is the extent to which your writing piece conveys complex ideas and information clearly and accurately in order to support claims in an analysis of the texts. So in the case of The Lady or the Tiger paragraph, this category is basically about your theme statement. So when I read your theme statement, I asked myself, how meaningful and complex is this theme statement? Is this theme statement accurate? Does this theme statement account for several theme words as opposed to maybe just one theme word? So it's the quality of your theme statement, and then it's also all of your tiebacks. So each time a piece of evidence was presented to me as the reader, I'd read the next sentence or 2 or 3 where you would explain how the evidence supports your claim. So that's you literally analyzing the text through the lens of your claim. So if you see this in any of your comments, it probably relates to either your theme statement or your reasoning sentences, your tieback sentences. The second category is command of evidence, and it says that that's the extent to which your writing piece presents evidence from provided text to support analysis. So for that category, I'm looking at how many pieces of evidence are used. I'm asking myself, out of this whole entire story, for the point he or she is trying to prove, are those the absolute strongest pieces of evidence that exist? So it's the number of pieces of evidence, it's the quality of the pieces of evidence, and it's also, did you present the evidence accurately? Did you copy it carefully? Did you not accidentally plagiarize by maybe having a typo within the quote? So that's the second category, and that's the second category that you might see typed into your comments after a piece of commentary. The third of the C's, the third category, is coherence, organization, and style. And really, that's, in my opinion at least, kind of 2 different categories. Organization has to do with, in your case, it being a paragraph. Does it start with a claim? Does it then provide evidence, reasoning, evidence, reasoning, evidence, reasoning? Does it end? Does it conclude with an all-encompassing concluding sentence? So basically, if you outlined using the paragraph template and you followed your outline, then your paragraph should be pretty well organized. So that's part of the category. And then the other part of the category is style. That has to do with using quality words. Maybe somebody used 2 or 3 Membean words and it didn't feel forced. It actually enhanced the writing piece. If that's the case, then your writing piece has better style than it would otherwise. On the other hand, maybe a writing piece uses some stereotypically lazy words like things or very. What you might see there is you might see a comment that says, look to avoid the word very in academic writing by using more precise adjectives. And the comment might even suggest to you an adjective that would work better. After that comment, it would say the word style, because attending to that comment would make the style of your writing piece more formal. It would make it more appropriate for an academic piece. So far it's the first C, the second C, the third C, and the final C is control of conventions. That's basically the grammar hammer category. Are commas used effectively? Have you spelled everything correctly? Are you capitalizing proper nouns? Are you, let's say you've introduced a quotation with a colon. Did the colon get used correctly? Or maybe that colon should have been a comma instead. If that were the case, that comment would have control of conventions next to it, because that's the part of the rubric to which it relates. So again, the purpose behind this slide and sharing it with you is just to give you some context and answer the question that some of you might have, which is, what does this command of evidence mean at the end of my comment? Also, today, as you're going through and beginning to process your feedback, I'm also going to email out to each of you a copy of your rubric with your score on it. And some of you might earn a 4 in a particular category. Maybe you got a 4 for your command of evidence. These are the sorts of words that you'll see in the level 4 rubric, in the level 4 of a rubric, similar to the one that I used. Somebody who earns a 4 for command of evidence has used sufficient evidence. They've used adequate evidence. So maybe an additional quote, a 4th direct quotation in addition to the 3 used, would make the piece even better. So what that is it's effective, it's sufficient, it's not quite as thorough, it's not as in-depth like a 5 or a 5+ might be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this slide deck as part of today's classwork as well, so that you can look at it as you're going through your rubric and as you're processing the feedback. But I used a rubric that you got ahead of time with these 4 categories on it. And for each of those categories, you could earn a score ranging from a 1 all the way up to a 5+. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of context today as you're going through and beginning to reread your work and process the feedback.